Hey guys, so today's tutorial is how to finish up your hoop. So at this point we've stitched it and it's in our hoop, it's ready to go, all strings have been cut, and I'm ready to put a backing on this and finish it. So inside of your embroidery kit, if you purchased this Fall Thankful kit, you received obviously your hoop and also a piece of felt. So at this point you will take your hoop and your felt and you will, let me scooch this out of the way real quick, you'll set it up and you'll actually go on the outside and trace the whole size of the hoop. And you can see it begins to create a line. Just a basic number 2 pencil, and then you can use the scissors included with your kit to cut that out. To save time, I've already pre-cut mine. So we're gonna go to the back side of the hoop, and at this point you will need your hot glue gun. So I've already got mine sitting here. It's been warming up, so it would be ready to go. So this is how I like to finish my hoops. There are other ways, but I have found this to be the easiest over the years. So I generally come and I put a small dab at the top and gently fold it down. I want it nice and tight, but again, I want to be gentle with this because I don't want to warp my image or my stitches. I go to the opposite side and I do the same thing. So I'm gonna do a longer stretch here. And you can see it'll kind of come out right there. That's okay. You're not going to see any of this, so don't worry about that. You just want to try not to get it on the outer rim of the hoop. But even that, for the most part, will be covered up. And I do like to work in opposites. So I like to do one side and then go to the opposite side and work in that motion. I find it to be the best for making sure that everything stays even inside of my hoop as far as the fabric and the image. And with the hot glue, it does not take long for it to dry, which is another reason I like this, is it holds very well, it dries pretty fast. And so it's just been, again, my favorite method for finishing off embroidery hoops. Especially, I wish I had known about this way versus trying to sew them closed when I was a beginner, because the sewing the closed was so finicky and it was just a mess. It took me a lot more time. So anyway, so let's finish up this last bit here. And I'm just gently pressing, and some of the hot glue gets on my fingers. It doesn't bother me, but obviously be careful if you're doing this, or especially if you have children working with you. You want to be careful. All right, so show you this. Now you can see that I've gotten all of my hoop cinched down for the most part. It's glued down there. It looks good. Looks like it's going to stay in place. At this point, I like to check. You can see I've got a small gap there, so I'm going to just put a tiny dab there. I like my hoops to be long lasting, and so I want them to be done well. All right, so at this point, you can grab your scissors, and I kind of come in here and I get about that far away or so from the hoop. I cut a line and then cut it this way. These scissors that come with the kit are nice and sharp, which is important when you're working with fabric. So at this point, I just begin closely but carefully going around the outer rim and trimming my fabric off. And once I do that, I will show you how that looks. So the purpose of doing this is the embroidery fabric is thinner because it's muslin. You can see through it. It's very nice to stitch on, but part of being able to see through it is obviously if anything is back there that you don't want, you'll be able to see it. And you know, you just don't want that. You want your hoop to look really nice. You put hard work into it. So you want it to look its best, especially when it's on display. All right, so It's that last little bit. So you can see I've cut it away for the most part. Now I can see where me cutting it away actually revealed a couple spots where I'm going to dab glue. So I have not unplugged my glue gun. I suggest you do the same, just wait. And there we go. So that looked to me like about the only spot I was concerned about. All right, so now you can see that's glued into place. And from the front, I'll take a look at it and see this little piece right here. So I want to come back through, and again, I'm touching up at this point because once I close the back of this hoop, it's closed. So I want to make sure everything that I need to do before I finish this off is finished. And just be careful coming in close to this finished work. I have actually cut my finished piece, and I tell you friends, it is a sad day when you've worked so hard on something and then at the very end you make a bad move and cut through your piece. All right, so I'd say that looks pretty good. This little piece doesn't bother me too much. If it bothers you, just again, be careful to trim it. All right, so now I'm ready to flip this over and take the circle that you cut. I like to try and find the side that doesn't show the pencil markings. And almost with the same direction that I glued my fabric down, I'm going to start with my hoop here. So I'm going to turn this to the side and try to line it up. Do not be worried or surprised if your cutting is a little wonky. We're going to trim that up and it won't be a big deal. All right, so I'm starting on this side, and especially this first piece, I really want to line it up nicely. And I just gently push it, trying not to push that hot glue out. It's okay if it comes out just a little, but there we go. So you can see I've got that. So I'm going to rotate, go to the opposite side. Again, making sure top and bottom are lined up. The good thing about felt is it does have a little bit of stretch and flexibility to it. So if you're slightly off, you can simply pull it and it should reach for you. Okay, so do that side, come to the bottom, and we can go ahead and put some glue there. Now you'll notice once I get those first two sides nice and stable, I'm a little bit more liberal with how much glue I'm putting down each time. It's only those first two really that I want to be very careful, because at that point I'm lining up how it's going to lay there. So just keep that in mind. All right, and then I'm just going to finish off these last sections here. And again, I like to be gentle with pushing it down. I have had hot glue spill out on my embroidery hoop. Been there, done that too. And so, you know, live and learn. All right, let's see. I've got two more spots here. So let's get this piece. That, and this piece like this. And voila, there we go. So now the backing is on your hoop. Your stitch work is protected. You can go kind of press everything down in place. It looks nice and even for the most part. And at this point, I'm not going to show you exactly how in this video because it's very simple, but you can just come through and any excess that you've got or anywhere where you see it might be a little uneven to the point that maybe it bothers you, just use your snips and kind of trim it off. So I'll go back and do that, but that is how we finish the back of the hoop.